Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into what's probably the most overlooked black hole in the entire supply chain. And yeah, I'm talking about the warehouse yard. It's a really fascinating area to unpack, mostly because moving your yard operations from, manual guesswork to true operational intelligence, it literally changes everything about how a facility performs.
This quote right here brilliantly sets the stakes for us today. A warehouse can run like clockwork inside and still lose the day outside. Think about it. You can have the most perfect, highly automated indoor execution imaginable. But if your outside yard operations are completely blind, the whole system just stalls right at the facility doors.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll be covering 1. The logistics black hole, 2. The 3 danger zones, 3. The ripple effect of blindness, 4. The true cost of chaos, and 5. Achieving operational intelligence. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The logistics black hole, where inside execution meets outside transport.
So what exactly do we mean when we say yard visibility? Basically, it's having total control over that chaotic space where transport meets your warehouse execution. It shows you exactly what's arrived, what's waiting, what needs immediate action, and most importantly, what's blocking the next move. Now, to be clear, this isn't just another fancy dashboard you throw up on a monitor. It's about knowing the whole story on the ground before a tiny delay turns into a massive, very expensive problem.
And that's really the difference between just having static information and having true operational intelligence. You aren't just asking, where is this trailer? You're answering why its location actually matters. Has the truck arrived? Is that trailer actually loaded or is it empty? Getting those answers immediately reduces all that manual follow-up at the gate and helps your dock teams plan their actual moves. Plus, knowing exactly how long a carrier has been waiting prevents those nasty detention costs, letting you act way before delays start spreading through the whole facility.
Moving on to Section 2. The 3 danger zones. These are the critical handover points where visibility usually breaks down.
Okay, so these are your critical handover points. First, you've got arrival and gate processing. Second, yard parking and movements. And finally, dock assignment and loading. The gate is essentially your first major blind spot. It's usually just full of manual checks and clipboards. Then the yard is your next huge gap, where trailers literally just go missing. And the dock? Well, that's where your pristine, perfect schedule meets the harsh reality of actual warehouse capacity. When these 3 zones are working in isolated silos, the site becomes incredibly slow. But when they're actually sharing real-time data, decisions become faster, smarter, and just a whole lot calmer.
Picture this. Have you ever dealt with a scenario where a shunter spends 20 minutes aimlessly driving around the yard just searching for a single trailer? 20 minutes might not sound like a huge deal, but I promise you, it feels like an absolute eternity when your indoor team is perfectly ready and waiting, but the physical asset is just gone. Multiply that 20 minutes by dozens of moves a day, and you're looking at a catastrophic loss of capacity. Which brings us to Section 3, the ripple effect of blindness, or how one missing update becomes a massive bottleneck.
You see, a missed shipment rarely has one single dramatic cause. It's almost always a chain reaction. It starts really quietly, like maybe the driver arrives just a little bit late. But because of poor visibility, the trailer is then super hard to find. That forces the dock plan to just change on the fly, and because of that sudden shuffle, the specific load isn't prioritized, and eventually the frustrated carrier just leaves after waiting too long. So a single late arrival cascades into a completely abandoned load.
And the contrast between these 2 operational realities is pretty stark. Without a shared truth, poor coordination means frantic phone calls are basically replacing actual planning. The radio chatter is endless, supervisors are constantly putting out fires, and your dock doors sit totally empty while trucks are stuck waiting somewhere else. It looks like everyone is incredibly busy, but nothing is actually moving. Conversely, operational intelligence offers a single source of truth across all your teams. It gives you early risk detection and seamless connected workflows.
Section 4. The true cost of chaos. Let's zoom out and look at the macroeconomic stakes of these avoidable waiting times.
According to the 2026 CSMP State of Logistics Report, U.S. business logistics costs reached an absolutely staggering $2.4 trillion. Let that sink in for a second. $2.4 trillion.
To put that number into perspective, that $2.4 trillion figure actually equals 7.8% of the total U.S. GDP, meaning in this highly expensive environment, an avoidable wait at a warehouse gate, it's absolutely not just a minor inconvenience anymore. It's a critical part of a massive national cost problem.
But even beyond those huge macro numbers, poor visibility is just bleeding your daily budget dry. You're getting hit with higher detention and demurrage fees. In fact, the American Transportation Research Institute noted over 325 freight locations are experiencing truck-involved congestion. You lose your operational rhythm, you end up wasting labor by paying people just to walk around searching for assets. Ultimately, you're just recreating external highway traffic jams right inside your own facility walls, and your overall throughput just plummets.
So, how do we fix this? Section 5. Achieving operational intelligence. Because while technology certainly matters, the process always comes first.
Look, a shiny new digital tool is absolutely not going to fix unclear rules. You really have to start by standardizing your yard processes. You need to define the exact baseline standards for every single step. What data is required for an appointment? What's the exact check-in method at arrival? What's the zone logic for parking, the priority rules for dock allocation, and the reporting required for departure? You absolutely have to lay this foundation first before you do anything else.
But once your process is clearly defined, well, that's when automation makes the transition incredibly smooth. You get to leave behind the old routine of manual security checks and guessing games. Instead, you step into this new reality of self-service kiosks, QR code check-ins, real-time GPS tracking, and adaptive scheduling. Your team literally stops chasing information and finally starts solving problems proactively.
So, to make that new reality happen, you've got to connect the visibility layer. This means layering in some specific tech. Real-time tracking like license plate recognition or RFID, digital signage to guide your drivers safely, and deeply integrating data across your transport and warehouse management systems. Ultimately, a yard management system, or YMS, is what ties all of this together. It basically gives your outdoor operations the exact same strict discipline you already demand inside the warehouse.
Which leaves us with one final, crucial question for your own supply chain. Now that we've seen the immense cost of this logistics black hole and the clear path to actually fixing it, are you ready to remove the guesswork and finally see your reality clearly? Thanks for joining me for this explainer.